Okay, let's get started here. Once you've input the link into the web browser, you should arrive to this page here. I'm forcing you to make a copy of the Google Sheet that I've already started in order to make sure that none of the original files get damaged or corrupt or anything like that. So you can always just make a new copy if somehow, some way your Google spreadsheet gets just ruined. So let's get started here. Once you're at this screen, go ahead and select make a copy. And you should generate a spreadsheet that is already kind of pre-filled and already has some sheets at the bottom. So before we get started, let's just go over what this activity is about. Okay, so essentially you're going to create a chart that compares the temperatures in 2010 with 2024, so this year. Specifically, we're going to be looking at September since we're in the month of September. So let me just go over the data real quick just so that you could see what's on the screen and know what this is going to be about. So every morning, or not every morning, but every day, there are two temperatures that you'll see if you go to any website. They give you a low temperature and a high temperature, meaning what's the lowest temperature you're going to feel, and then what's the highest temperature you're going to feel. The reason being is because usually overnight or in the early morning, the temperature is low. And then obviously midday, that's when it gets to the highest temperature. So that way you can kind of like gauge whether or not you need to take a sweater for a little bit or whatever the case is. So before we get started though, we're going to go over sort of some terminology with what you see in Google Sheets. Sometimes I refer to Google Sheets as Excel, but let me just clarify that Excel and Microsoft Word were originally made by Microsoft. Google wanted to get into the game, so they created Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Docs. So later you'll learn that if you want to convert a Google Doc to a Microsoft document, there's going to be some like conversion sort of like mishaps, like letters will be totally different and that'll happen. But anyways, that's just a little bit of a backstory. So let's go ahead and get started here. You already have 4 sheets at the bottom. You could also call them 4 tabs. There's the temperature comparison. This tab is only so that you could see the end result, and that way you know, hey, am I getting the right numbers, etc., etc. This is here to kind of help guide you. The middle tab here, the one that says fill out, that's for you to actually fill. As you can see, it's already kind of pre-filled, so that you don't have to waste all this time in putting every single piece of data. The next tab is formulas. This is where I'm going to sort of, as we use formulas, I'm going to try to add ones that we are using as we go along. Like you'll see. And then the links is the web pages that I use to get this data. So it's not like some made up data that I got. AccuWeather is actually something I use a lot to figure out what the temperature is going to be like next month. That's good to do if you want to sort of travel and kind of know ahead if you're going to be traveling during hot days, winter, cold days, rainy days, etc. Okay, so let's get started. I'm trying to hopefully make this video no more than 15 minutes, so cross fingers. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this page, okay? As you can see, there's some data that's missing. I'm going to start by sort of showing you already some shortcuts, but before we get into that, let's just break down what we see here. So Google Sheets is made up of 2 components, columns and then rows. If you hit, like, let's just say B, this top of this column, it'll highlight everything in that column. Same thing if you select the row on the left, it'll select the entire row. This is a way for you to kind of not have to eyeball things. You can click so that it'll highlight it for you and you don't have to kind of cross your eyes. One of the first things we're gonna address is, hey, if I want you to select a certain cell, I'm gonna say something like, for example, here when my cursor is F3, I want you to select that. Be careful because sometimes I want you to select and drag. So please be listening. Otherwise, you will get confused. You will start to copy and paste wrong things. So please be alert. Okay, so first things first, this should be about 2024 right here. So to not have to write or type a lot, I'm gonna go ahead and just copy what I see over here, okay, on this top left 2010, these three blue or the six blue cells here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the top left and go and drag my little mouse all the way to the bottom right. Sometimes with Chromebooks it gets a little weird, so you can hit or select cell A1 and then move your cursor to C2, right? And then hit shift and then click your mouse and it'll highlight all of that for you. On the bottom left of your keyboard, you'll see CTRL, which is really control. That's what you really say. Control C, right? So if you hold control and then hit the C button, it'll copy your whatever it is you want to copy. And then control V will paste it. A lot of you are probably aware of that, but you know, maybe there's one or two that don't. So we'll be using control and the button right above it a lot, shift, in order to really move things fast here. So go ahead and highlight those six blue cells there, hit control copy, and then click E1, right? You don't have to click all six, but just click E1 and then hit control V and it'll drop what you need to drop there. Before we start editing things, go ahead and change 2010 to 2024 because that's what we're comparing 2010 to. If you notice cell F2 and G2, it's a little cut off. So in order to include everything in that cell, you can go in between the columns like F and G, double tap or double click, and it'll open up wider so that you could fit in what you need to fit in. Same thing, you could keep doing that, okay? At any point, please pause the video and really try to soak in whatever I'm saying. If you need me to slow down, just obviously pause the video. Okay, so now take this moment to, well, I was going to say, take this moment to fill in the rest of these, right? These values with the ones you see in temperature comparisons, right? So just know that I filled up all the way to September 15 here, but you're missing all the way up to September 30. So right now you'll pause the video, but before we do that, I'm going to show you a little trick here. If you select 915, the last one, Google Sheets and Excel is really good at knowing patterns. So it knows that you put 914 before that, 913 above that, etc. So you want all the way to 930. So go ahead and drag, click and drag the bottom left. Let me go back. To go back, you can hit Control Z, right? So again, select 915, click that little blue circle, click and drag all the way down to so that you can fit 930. Right there, I got lucky and got all the way to 930. If I would have passed that, I don't know if you can go in reverse. I'm curious. Oh no, you can't go in reverse. So you got to go in here and delete. If you put too many, again, Control Z undoes what you just did. I'm going to go to the other one now, 915, and drag all the way down to row 32. That fills all of what I need. So now go ahead and just pause the video and fill out these values. And then unpause the video once you're done with that. I'm going to go ahead and cheat and copy the values, but again, go ahead and stop it and come back. So I'm going to go ahead and copy. So this is these values here, and these are the other values that I need right there. Okay, so that put me up to speed here. So let's get to the gist of things. So I want you to try out a few functions here. So one of the things that, you know, you might not find interesting with temperature, but these are useful things that you could do with, you know, if somebody gives you a large data set and you're trying to find the lowest number or the highest number, these are some functions that will help you do that. So again, let me clarify this. The lowest high temperature is basically the lowest temperature that was possible in a day in September. So when you wake up in the morning, you know, or overnight, you're going to feel the lowest temperature. That's this column. The highest temperature, okay, is right here. This is the highest of the days, right? We're only going to be focusing on high temps for today because otherwise this video can be pretty long. So if you could see, lowest high temp in 2010, lowest high temp in 2024, highest temp in 2010, and then the hottest day in 2024. So let's go ahead and start putting in these formulas. So when you want to use a formula, the first thing you have to do is put equals. We're looking for the lowest high temp. So basically the least hottest day in September is how you would say it. So the first thing you want to do is type min. Min stands for minimum value. So where do you want to find the minimum value? There's two ways to do that. You can, as you could see, there's a little gray input here. You can manually enter it, but the easiest way is to go to cell B3. Okay, go to cell B3. You're going to click and hold. Okay, when you click and hold, then you can drag all the numbers that you want this formula to search for the smallest number. So once you get all the way to the bottom here, unclick, and then you'll see that it's entered into the cell. Just hit enter. Now it located the lowest highest temperature in September of 2010. So in this 2010 column, it looked for the least hottest day in September. Now let's look for the hottest day in September of 2010. So go ahead and put equals max. Okay. And then hit max. And then again, you're going to go back to the same column, B3. Okay. Click and hold, and then go all the way down to 97. Let's say I messed up, right? Let's just say I'm like, oh, dang, I clicked the wrong cell. You know, because if you click and hold, the nice thing about it is you can start over, go to B3, and then click and hold and go all the way down to B32, and then hit enter. Now you looked for the hottest day in 2010, which was 106 degrees. So let's do the same thing now with the least hottest day in September in 2024 and the hottest day in September 2024. So again, equals min. Click minimum. Okay. Now let's go to Vegas high temp. So I'm going to click 104, drag all the way down, and now hit enter. And that's, so the least hottest day in September was 87 degrees. That is going to be in September 25th. So we're almost there. Just 20 more days to go, and we're going to feel the lowest temperature of September. So that's pretty good, 87. Let's look at the hottest day. Let's find the hottest day in September. Equals max. And then again, select the max and then go to 104. So cell F3 and then highlight all the way down and hit enter. So the hottest day in 2024. So just think about the data exploration, right? This is the data exploration part. We've come to realize that, look at the difference. 14 years have passed, and again, this is not enough data to say, oh, global warming doesn't exist or whatever. I mean, 4 degrees is a difference, right? 106 to 3 degrees rather. But again, this is just 1 month that we're testing, but this is in 2010 compared to 2024. The lowest temp in 2010 was 83 degrees, and now the lowest it got was 87, which is kind of interesting, right? It's only like a 4% temperature degree difference. Now let's look for the average. Average usually matters because it gives you an indication of, like, on average, what was the hottest day, or what was the average hottest day. Usually this is the number in between, in the middle. So that one, you hit equals and then type average, and then you'll see it pop up right here, average. Click it, and again, do the same thing with the high temp in 2010. So the average temperature in 2010 was 96. Let's look at the average temperature in 2024. So average. Average is a good way, again, to see not the hottest, not the coldest day, but on average, what would it be? Sometimes that has a more of a difference, or sometimes it has no difference, So let's go ahead and highlight Vegas temp high. Whoops. And then hit enter. So 99. And that's also interesting, right? It's like a 3 degree difference still. So Okay, just so that we're not spending too much, we're almost at 15 minutes for this video. Let's go ahead and just make this a graph now. So this is where it gets a little tricky, okay? If you hit and hold shift, okay, don't do that by the way. Just if you hit and hold shift, you can't really highlight cells in between. We want to highlight cells in between. So we're going to make a graph. We want our x-axis to be the dates in September, okay? We want our dates to be in September, and we want our y-axis to be the temperature, the high temperatures of Vegas in 2010 and in 2024. So let's make this happen. So go ahead and click and hold CTRL, and then hide, well, let me go ahead and first, my bad, select 9/1 of September, okay, on the top left. Then select CTRL, click and hold it. You're going to hold it for a lot of this. So now I'm going to go all the way down to September 30th and then click it. See how it does this big jump? So one of the best things to do is actually just highlight all of September with just your mouse clicker. Okay. Now you're going to CTRL or hit Control, and you're going to select Vegas temp high for 2010. Okay. Now this is the tricky part. Now you're going to hit shift. Okay. Hit shift and hold it, and then go all the way down to cell B32 so that you select all of this. Okay. Then you're going to let go of shift. So let go of shift and only let go of shift. Please do not let go of CTRL. If you did, go ahead and click CTRL again. Once I'm holding CTRL or control, I keep saying CTRL, control. Once you click and hold control, now go to cell F3 and hit the 104. Okay. And then you're going to go all the way down to cell F32. But before you click, make sure you now hit and hold or click and select, click and hold shift, and now click the cell F32. And now, as you can see, you've highlighted cells that are separate. If you mess this up, you're going to highlight way too many cells. So hit pause, rewind the video, and see if you can follow directions again. Okay, that could be a little confusing. Now, I'm moving my cursor. I mean, I don't have to be clicking, right? But now I'm still holding Control and Shift. I can let that go. Okay, nothing should be highlighted. Please do not click the screen. It'll mess up. So again, pause the video, redo this if you've messed this up. Okay, now you want to go to Insert, and we're gonna go down to Chart. So we're gonna insert a chart. Okay, now here's where Google Sheets kind of messes up. If you notice, you only have one bar graph. That means it only actually registered one thing. So let me help you with that. So I'm gonna move my little chart because I need these numbers. Okay, if you notice, this is your x-axis, and the series right here on the bottom right, B3 to B32, that means it only included your column in B. It only included this right here. Let me show you. It only included this column here. It did not include this one. Sometimes it does that. I don't know why, but it's weird. So we need to include this column into our graph. So what we want to do is click the graph, go to this double, this, what do they call it? It's like, I don't know what it is, the 3 dots, whatever. And then hit edit chart. Now you're going to go to series down here, and you're going to hit add series. Now hit this little select data range, okay? And you're going to highlight and select the F3 all the way down that column, okay? So select it and then hold shift and select it, hold shift, and then click the value all the way at the bottom so that you select all of these, and then it should fill it out, okay? It should fill it out in here, and then press OK. So as you can see, now it's got both of these columns on here, all right? Again, you had to have hit add series to add the second column that was not added. Okay, so it's pretty much done, all right? I'm going to try to keep this video under 25 minutes, but bear with me. I know it's a lot. So now I'm going to move this chart a little bit. I want to kind of leave it where it's not blocking anything. Now we're going to do something where, as you could see, having a chart like this is cool. You could see how the red line represents probably 2010. So this is how you could tell. If you go, sorry, let me exit this. If you go to this value up here, it should kind of show you. So this was September 1st, it was 104. I'm not clicking anything, I'm just sort of going hovering. September 1st, it was 104. So if you notice, September 1st right here is 96, and over here it's 104. Okay, so if you look at the blue one, and September 1st it was 96. So for the record, blue one is going to be 2010 and the red one is going to be 2024. So the best thing to do right now is, not forget and just double click this. Let me see if it's doable. Yeah, there you go. I double click this little legend over here. So if you click it, you can actually add text here. So I could click it, hold on one second, and I could add the text directly on here. So I could say Vegas temp 2010. Okay, and it'll add it there. And then I can just click this one here till I can enter the text. So click the red box, the red little bar right here. Click it so that you could enter text. And I'm gonna put Vegas temp 2024. Now we can really not forget. The red is 2024, temperatures in 2024. And then the blue one is temperatures in 2010. But remember, this is about September. As you can see the bottom, these are dates of September. So I want to see if I could add a date. So sometimes it's weird to add the charts. So I'm just going to label the charts here. I'm going to click the graph. Again, go to the three dots and then go to edit chart. And let's see, we should go under customize and then chart and axis titles. And then chart title is going to be Vegas temp comparison for September. Okay, now as you can see, it add the title at the top. Now I want to add a title to the horizontal axis. So I'm going to go to horizontal axis. It's not here. Let me see. Chart and axis titles, maybe it's still under here. Oh yeah, right here. So chart and axis titles, select the drop down here and go to horizontal axis title. That's going to be dates in September, and then hit enter. And then I'm going to change the horizontal axis title up here, the drop down, and I'm going to go vertical axis title. That's going to be temperature. There you go. And then hit enter. And that's it. So one last thing we're going to do here is I'm going to close or minimize this little chart and axis titles window and go to chart style. Just kidding, not chart style. Go to setup. We need to change the chart type. Go to line chart and then go ahead and select, scroll down and select scatter. As you can see, scatter is going to be one of the best ways to sort of compare dates, right? So the bigger the gap you see in between the dots, that's the biggest change in temperature. For example, if we hit the top, this little, I hate when that happens because you have to click out. So you can't really see the numbers until you exit the little chart editor here on the right. So hit the little X, and now we could see it here. So now that that's gone, now we can actually click things and actually hover and see the different temperatures here. So if we go to September 9th, which is actually coming up here in a couple days, September 9th has the biggest change in temperature. So in 2024, it's going to hit 104, whereas in September 9th of 2010, it was 83 degrees, the hottest day. So on September 9th, that looks like it was actually the least hottest day in 2010. So you see different chart styles. Again, if I go to the edit chart, you don't have to do this, but you can go to chart type. It has all kinds of different. Let's do this one. This is literally comparing each day in September with the temperature in that date for 2010 and um, and 2024. So like the September 1st, you can again hover. It was 96 in 2010, but 104 in 2024. And you can kind of just scroll around, and this is that whole idea of data exploration. You're exploring the different data. Again, go ahead and hit the edit chart, mess around with this. Go to setup, change the chart. If you click, let's see, if you click the red bar, you can go in here. So you can select the red bar, right? Well, you don't want to select it too much. So I can click out, select the red bar. You can change what you're looking for, right? Like what you want to apply changes to. You can change the colors of things, right? This is all done in this little customize and setup section right here. Let me see if I can change the color to the bar ones. Fill color, let's check it. So let's do, I don't know, red. So there you go. So brown. So I'm changing the Vegas temperature for 2024. Blue, that, well, we don't want blue actually. Let's just go back to red. But you could do a bunch of these things. So this is just, again, one thing to do with the Google Sheets. So I know this was a 25-minute video, but it covered a lot, right? Like this is probably more than you've done in a while with Google Sheets, but it's extremely useful tool. So if you have time in class, tinker with it. Otherwise, I highly recommend you go back to Khan Academy and please do some of those exercises. Continue doing those. Those are going to be a part of your grade. And then eventually I'll have you submit this into Canvas. So please do not delete this file. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo it. And that's it. We'll cut the video at this point and continue it at some other point.